My name is Andrea Reyes. I am the health educator for the Columbia University Cancer Center. We do free health education all over the community. We put these events on all the time. At the end of my talk, I'm going to have my coworker Maya, who's on the line, put in some links. If you all are not on our email list and we would like to receive invitations to all of this type of education, we'd be happy to sign you up if you click on that link. We also have links to upcoming events, and we will be sharing those as well. Um, okay, so I've got a ton of information. I know I said this before, but for the new people coming in, I've got a ton of information and a lot of slides. So I'm going to try to get through them relatively quickly just so that we have time to do a lot of questions and answers at the end. Feel free to take photos if you would like of the screen, if there's information that you want to capture or save. We're totally okay with that. And I'll share my information with you at the end so that if you have any questions that come up afterwards, you can always email or text me. Okay, so we're going to talk about how to lower your risk of cancer by eating healthy, which foods are healthy and unhealthy, and how to include healthy food in your daily diet. First, how can we eat healthy? These are just the really quick takeaway points, but we're going to go into a lot more detail. So first, you want to eat more fruits and vegetables, meats that aren't fatty, protein from plants, they don't have to come from meats, dairy products that are a mix of full and low fat, and whole grains. By eating healthy, we can avoid feeling sick, stressed, or changes in weight, cancer and other chronic diseases like obesity, heart disease, diabetes, and cancer. And we'll talk about what foods we should eat less of, and those include processed meats, candy, sugary drinks, fried food, sweetened cakes, cookies, etc., and more. Okay. So to lower your cancer risk, it's important to consider, these are really big takeaways for everyone, right? So we want to be able to reduce the amount of alcohol you drink, and we'll go into more detail on that in a few minutes. We want to maintain a healthy body weight, make sure that we get physical activity in our daily lives. It's important to consider what you eat, how much of it you eat. You want to consider what foods to limit, and also it's really important on how foods are prepared. And I will give you examples of all of that. So starting with the first point, in as much as you can, drink less alcohol. There's strong evidence that alcohol increases the risk of 6 types of cancers that we know of so far, and those include breast, bowel, liver, mouth and throat, esophageal, and stomach. So for cancer prevention, it's best not to drink alcohol at all or limit as much as you can in following the national guidelines. Okay. The second thing we would want to do is maintain a healthy body weight. Being overweight or obese means that you have too much body fat. And too much body fat can increase your chances of developing cancer. So throughout your life, you want to be able to keep a healthy weight and try to avoid weight gain later on in life. That's really important. Now, what are the national guidelines for physical activity? So, and feel free to take a photo of this slide if you would like, because I think this is really important. So for children, it's 3 hours of active play. And these are for young children between ages 3 and 5. For young people who are between 6 and 17, it's 1 hour per day of moderate to vigorous activity. And for all of the adults on here, you really, it's easiest to think about 20 minutes per day. And that could be walking, going up and down stairs, jogging in place at home, jump roping at home. I know that a lot of us aren't really going out much, but there are definitely things that we can do at home to just get our heartbeat and our breathing elevated for 20 minutes. So we definitely want to walk more and sit less. Okay. So I'm sure all of you have heard about the 5 different food groups, and important things to know about the 5 different food groups is that you want to eat a variety of foods, and understanding that some people have food allergies, some people don't like certain things, some people are intolerant of certain foods. Within the group, if there are foods that you can eat, then absolutely stick to what you can, because everybody is different and we want to acknowledge that for sure. Okay, and so the message here is basically eat a rainbow every single day in as much as you can. So each color, as you can see here on the right, gives different minerals, vitamins, and fiber. Eating fruits and vegetables means that you're getting less fat and actually less calories. If you start including all the grains and all the meats, that's where a lot of the fat and calories comes from. Almost every color has an associated health benefit. So if you can eat the rainbow, you definitely should. Okay. Fruits and vegetables. Um, it's best to eat the whole fruit and to stick to the non-starchy ones, like and the ones that are really colorful: broccoli, tomatoes, zucchini. Starchy vegetables, and I will go into more detail in a little bit, are things like potatoes and cassava. Some people call that yuca in Spanish, and those are the ones that are starchy, and that's equal to like eating bread. Yes, it has vitamins and minerals, they come from the earth, but it's got too much glucose, too much sugar in it, and your body converts that to fat, and that's not ideal. Okay. Whole grains and fiber. So whole grains are packed with fiber, which is good for your health and can lower your colorectal cancer risk. How does it lower your colorectal cancer risk? People who eat more fiber go to the bathroom more. People that go to the bathroom more don't have stuff sitting in their intestines that can cause inflammation or aggravate your digestive system. Whole grains have vitamins, minerals, and proteins. And when you consume them, when you eat them, they actually help you feel fuller faster so that you eat less. And that also helps you maintain weight. Okay. For the dairy products, the guidance is that you want to eat a mixture of it. Probably a little bit less full fat, but a mix of low fat and no fat with some full fat. And these are, this image shows examples of dairy products. For protein, these are images of protein: chicken, turkey, and other types of meat like salmon and fish. You want to make sure that it's lean, trim all the fat off of it. You can have fish, but try not to fry it. Baked is much better. Whoop, my finger chipped. Okay. And then plant-based protein like tofu, edamame beans, lentils, chickpeas, also called garbanzos, peanuts, almond, and quinoa are really good alternatives to meat. There are unsaturated fats, which are actually necessary and good for you, and they have health benefits. And those are found in seafood. And these are examples like salmon, trout, herring, tuna. They are found in nuts like walnuts, almonds, and cashews, in sesame, pumpkin, and flax seeds, and in olive oil, canola, peanut, and safflower oil, and avocados. So these are the unsaturated and healthy fats that are actually necessary for us to be healthy. Okay. How do we include healthy food in our daily diet? So I'm going to be giving you some ideas on things that you can do. First, you want to make healthy food choices. You want to buy products that don't have artificial colors or flavors and that the ingredients are recognizable and natural. And these are two examples of bread labels. So bread number one, as you can see, has names that are recognizable: whole wheat, flour, water, molasses, yeast, wheat gluten, non-fat milk, salt. We know what those things are. Bread number two, and the letters are highlighted, it has corn syrup, which is another type of sugar. It has sugar, it's got partially hydrogenated oils. Sucrose and dextrose are both sugars as well. High fructose corn syrup, fructose, all of these are very big names. Some people don't know what they are. If you don't know what these things are, you would want to try to buy the bread that has the greatest amount of natural ingredients and the least amount of unnatural ingredients. And that's the takeaway here. And, important, if you can prepare foods at home, try to do so. And why? Because you know what's going into your food. Buying things at restaurants, while delicious, you don't know what's going in. You can't trim the fat off your meats. You can't make sure your vegetables are washed really well and other things. Okay. And preparing it, like I said before, that's really important. So instead of frying and using unhealthy methods, it'd be ideal to bake or to roast, steam or to poach your food instead of making it in a way that would increase the amount of fat and grease and oils in the food. And also, I would love for people to take a picture of this image. This is for, whenever you serve yourself a plate, whenever you cook for your family, whenever you serve your children, it's important to keep this in mind. And I definitely keep this image in mind when I'm serving my family and when I'm cooking. As you can see here, half of the plate is fruits and vegetables. Some kind of produce, whether it's cooked or steamed or raw, and you want to add color within that plate. And then 1/4 would be protein and 1/4 would be grains. And they included a dairy here, although we understand that not everyone wants to consume dairy. But if you can't drink milk, but you can have yogurt or something else, that's also a good alternative. So you start with a 9-inch plate. You use your hands to measure portions. Again, half of the plate produce and then 1/4 lean protein and whole grains. And here we have an example of the different types of things that you can put on your plate, right? So we have plenty of healthy vegetables and fruits, understanding that not everyone will have all of these things on hand at one point, but you can feel free. Some people are like, what? I'm going to put blueberries on my dinner plate and strawberries. Well, of course, why not? It's fresh produce, it's packed with vitamins and minerals and enzymes, and they're good for you. So sure, if you serve your family peas, why not put some strawberries on the plate? That's fine. Or save them for dessert, that's fine too. You can see here that on the top right, these are proteins. So you've got almonds and nuts and eggs and tofu. Looks like there's some meat on there as well. And then there's whole grain foods. So there's quinoa, there's some sort of mixed, there's brown rice, there's wild rice pilaf. You can buy pasta with fiber in it, and you can buy whole grain breads as well. And any combination of this makes for a perfect meal. And now for portion size, really important. So you want to look at your hands, right? So for fruit, vegetable, and grains, a portion is the size of your fist. You can make a fist, and that's what you should be eating. You want to eat 5 fistfuls of fruits, vegetable, and grains per day. And for lean protein, that's the important part. Lean, the portion is the size of your palm. So whatever the size of the palm of your hand is. And that equals roughly 3 ounces of fish or chicken, or lean pork as well. And we go on. And so I would love for all of you, and we can talk about this in the discussion, to start thinking about, as we're talking, what changes can you make today? Next time you go to the supermarket, what can you buy that's different, that's putting you on a path to better health? So instead of buying full fat cheese or milk, you can buy low fat, right? Instead of buying white bread, you can switch to whole wheat, multi-grain, you can get seeded bread, anything that's not white bread. For fatty meats, you can switch to seafood or just have a plate of rice and beans. Instead of using full fat butter, you can use olive or canola oil. Definitely switching soft drinks to water is a big win. And if you need the bubbles, I always advise you can have seltzer. They sell seltzers now with tons of flavor, and you won't get the sugar and you won't get the artificial color that's in the soft drinks. And instead of having potato chips, you can have something like unsalted nuts. So you're not getting all of the sodium and all of the fried, but you're getting a ton of protein with these nuts. And these are more healthy changes. And these are hints on like, how can you add more fruit and vegetables to your meal, right? So if you are someone who eats your Quaker oats in the morning as you're rushing out to go to work, throw some fruit on top of that and mix that with the yogurt and the oatmeal, and all of that mixed up is delicious. You can even put peanut butter in oatmeal, and it's really healthy. If you make an omelet, take whatever vegetables you have in your fridge, saute them a little bit and throw them into the eggs. Smoothies are always a really big win. For lunch and dinner, you can have a vegetable soup. If you're going to have pasta, throw some veggies in there. You can top your tacos and you can put some meat and cheese, that's fine, but you can put more veggies than anything else. And snacks, again, you can have vegetables with some sort of dip, with hummus. You can have an apple with peanut butter, and that'll keep you full and give you a ton of vitamins and protein as well. Other healthy swaps. Lots of people like sugary coffees. It's delicious to buy Starbucks, but not ideal for health. You can try coffee with no sugar or coffee with 1 sugar instead of the 3 that you're used to putting in. Again, sugary soda, you can switch that for seltzers if you really need the bubbles, and some people do. And instead of sugar on items, you might make pancakes and put some sugar on top or something. You can make a fruit puree, and that gives you vitamins and it gives you some of the sweetness as well. Okay, and now we're going to talk about foods that you should limit to reduce your risk of developing cancer. So I will talk about all of these in detail, but this is just kind of an overview, right? So we want to reduce our sugar. We want to reduce our consumption of fatty foods, alcohol, processed foods, red meat, starchy vegetables, and junk food. And we will go into all of these in detail. So sugar. I think the image on the right is really powerful. These are the little mountains of sugar that are included in all of these drinks. So if someone buys a bottle of Coca-Cola to have with lunch or dinner, they're actually ingesting 16 tablespoons of sugar that's in the form of syrup in their soda. And no one would ever go to their sugar bowl at home and eat 16 spoonfuls of sugar, but we drink it and don't even think twice about it. So it's something that's really important to keep in mind when you purchase sugary drinks. As you can see, all the way moving towards the right, there are 25 teaspoons in those like slushies that you can get at 7-Eleven. Even a lemonade has the same amount of teaspoons as Coca-Cola. So you think that you're having, oh, lemonade is healthier, but it's actually not because you're getting the same amount of sugar. But to solve all of these problems, you can just drink water, and that's fine. And that's the best thing you can do. And we move on. So limiting alcohol. These are examples of standard drinks. The federal guidelines say that women should drink no more than one per day and men no more than 2 drinks per day. But if you can avoid it altogether, it's better for you. Okay. Again, more about checking ingredients. So sugars can have different names on a label. So there's corn syrup, there's invert sugar, there's fructose. This is just on a like a jar of peanut butter, the label. And there's more, as you can see here. There's a corn sweetener, glucose, honey has a ton of sugar, sucrose, turbinado sugar. All of these are hidden in the foods that you buy in the supermarket, and they're common even in like a pizza sauce or crackers, cookies. You can buy a box of cookies and it has 3 or 4 different types of sugar in it, and it's named differently. So if you can check the ingredients, it would be ideal. Now, we talked about unsaturated fats being good for you, but saturated fats are actually not good for you. You've got, one second. Please repeat image before water and drinks. Okay, I will go back to that image at the end of the talk, okay? So saturated fats are unhealthy fats. They come from all of these. You can see these foods here, and they come from animal products like dairy, meat, and poultry. And I'm sure all of you have eaten at least one of these things. They are delicious, but they are not good for us because they have unhealthy fats. So every once in a while is fine, but not all the time. You definitely don't want to have these couple of these a week. Okay, we talked about drinking less alcohol and processed foods. So what are processed foods? Stuff you can buy in a box in the supermarket. And it can be soups or baked goods or sugary cereals, processed meats and biscuits. Down below, you see the salamis and the kielbasas and of the world, and sausage links and hot dogs. And these have nitrates and nitrites, and these are chemicals that are added to these processed meats. And we know that eating processed meats, because of the chemicals that are put into them, are strongly associated with an increased risk of cancer in the digestive tract. And we certainly do not want that. Okay, and again, limiting red meats and processed meats. Really important here to note, you can see that there's an image of meat being burned and charred. That actually is very, has been highly associated with the development of cancer. When you burn meat, your body processes that burnt stuff almost like smoke. It's like getting smoke in your body. And when you cook over a grill, over charcoal, those chemicals also fuse with the meat, along with all of the fire starting liquids that you might use to get that barbecue going. That all gets on your food and you eat it. Again, there's the hot dogs on the white bread, and then there's the prosciuttos and the salami that are also not good for you. And we talked earlier about starchy vegetables. Here we go again. Potatoes, plantains, and corn are much higher in calories and carbohydrates, and they can raise your blood sugar levels faster than the non-starchy types. So once in a while, okay, but you don't want to make this a common practice with the starchy vegetables. They're less good for you. Okay. And avoiding fast food and junk food. We know it's hard, but in as much as you can, you want to try to make healthier options. The effects of fast food and junk food on the body are serious. It's extra calories. Drinking these things can cause, like sugary drinks and stuff can cause insulin resistance. You can get high blood pressure from so much sodium and salt in the food. That salt will make you get bloated and puffy. Some people experience shortness of breath. Eating junk food all the time has been associated even with increased risk of depression. The fats in the food can cause high cholesterol. They can be hard on the heart. Some of the chemicals in things like hot dogs, those nitrates and nitrites, can cause headaches. Some of artificial colors in, let's say you drink Kool-Aid, that can also give you a headache. So there are lots of different symptoms that we may not associate it with the meal that we just ate, but we want to always make sure that we're thinking when we're not feeling great what we ate that day or even the day before. And this is just more hints, more tips. Meat swap. Instead of deep frying and pan frying, boiling and barbecuing, you can bake, steam, poach, or roast. And these are really important takeaways. Whoop, sorry, let me go back one. I keep hitting this thing. Okay, really important takeaways. These are the things that are going to have a profound impact on your health, right? So first, change the way you cook your meats. Don't burn them, don't char them. Do not drink alcohol, or if you do drink, reduce drastically the amount of alcohol that you drink. Reduce the amounts of sugar in the foods with added sugars. Reduce the amount of sugar that you add to your foods, and reduce the amounts of foods that have added sugars, and eat whole foods. So you don't want to rely on supplements like vitamins for nutrition. You're getting more into your body and into your cells by actually eating the food. So instead of taking a vitamin C pill, which is fine, but don't not eat oranges or bananas or melons because you're taking a supplement. And so to receive nutrition-related medical care or counseling, this is the information for New York Presbyterian Hospital, Columbia University Medical Center. Please feel free to take a snapshot of this screen. I have another couple of screens that you might want to take a snapshot of. Okay. And now I can open up for discussion. I want to say thank you. This is my phone number if you need to speak with me directly. We also have, this is our email.